Welcome to Brisbane International Airport, the largest international airport in the state of Queensland, and not only that, but the northern half of Australia. Today I'll be continuing my journey north as we fly on Air New Guinea in a Boeing 767 in business class. With roughly 262 departures here every day, Brisbane Airport handles on average 14 million passengers to 76 destinations. These figures make Brisbane Airport the most connected domestic airport in Australia. This particular airport also occupies the largest amount of land space out of all of the other Australian airports. It's so large, in fact, that it has its own postcode, which I think is pretty cool. Expectedly, Brisbane has two terminals, the international and domestic, which have quite the fair distance between the two, being roughly 2 kilometres. This terminal is split into 4 different levels. Level 1 is for rideshare and passenger pickup, Level 2 is for arrivals, Level 3 are where the gates are, and Level 4 is for check-in. Air New Guinea uses the Alpha check-in desks here at Brisbane, which is on the far left-hand side of the building, which have dedicated business and executive class lanes, as well as your standard economy lane. Because Air New Guinea only has one daily flight to Papua New Guinea, there aren't Air New Guinea ground staff. Instead, Qantas crew handles all the ground operations. After having my documents verified, I was successfully checked in, and I proceeded swiftly to the nearest currency exchange to get some kina, or the local currency in Papua New Guinea. The immigration area can be tricky to find, as it isn't very well signed, especially for those visiting the airport for the first time, myself included. Immigration and security was made easy today by the use of a pass card offered to all business class passengers. After security is the usual duty-free shopping, which today I opted to skip in favour of lounge time. Brisbane Airport was built in a very clever and well thought of design, being constructed similar to how European airports are constructed, with the major of things to do being found in the centre concourse, whilst basically no amenities are present at the gates, besides a few vending machines. This sort of layout maximises the amount of spending each passenger makes, particularly in the duty-free section. Air New Guinea business class passengers are entitled to use the Qantas International Business Class Lounge before their flight, which is located on the northern side of the building and is fairly tucked away. The Qantas Lounge here at Brisbane is long and thin, as well as very tall, consisting of 3 different levels, which we shall explore. Level 1 is the second smallest space, with ample seating options to choose from, such as window views, lounges, workstations, and a more casual dining area. The menu on this level is fairly consistent with that of your typical Qantas lounge. There are different breads, hot options such as pancakes, scrambled eggs, bacon, and baked beans, and cold options such as cereals, yogurts, fruits, and muesli cups. There are also a vast selection of pastries and spreads to go with in these cute little jars. There is also self-serve alcohol and soft drinks available. My favourite addition to any lounge is always the dedicated barista, which is rare to find in lounges outside of Australia, at least in my findings. I opted for a few pastries with jams and pineapple juice, all of which were very delicious, very sweet, and a great starter to today's food adventure. Level 2 of the lounge is much like Level 1, albeit much larger and a slightly more extensive menu, with additional cold options such as salads and hot options such as hash browns. A noticeable addition which I have never seen before in the lounge is that of flaky salt, which makes every meal that much more posh. Unlike Level 1, Level 2 have several different communal bathrooms for general use, and showers are available, which are on a first come and first served basis, with towels available, so there is no real reason to visit the front desk. I decided on grabbing myself a yogurt cup with raspberry compo tea, and I'm still not sure what was on top, but it was great. To get to level 3, there is an elevator next to the reception area. Level 3 is by far the smallest area, and subsequently has the least amount of passengers, and is personally my favorite area of the lounge. Up here exists all the same facilities as downstairs, except there are no bathrooms and the buffet is significantly reduced. However, Qantas's daily signature dish is served exclusively on level 3, which today was a spicy baked egg with roasted capsicum and toasted flatbread. This was by far the best meal I had had so far, and believe me, it only gets better. As the make way to gate sign appeared on the departures board, my time in this fantastic lounge had come to its unfortunate close. My recommendation to anyone flying in and out of Brisbane internationally, I definitely recommend this lounge, as it's a fantastic way to spend some time before your flight. Generally speaking, the walk from the Qantas lounge to the gates is pretty short, but if you are departing from, say, gates 87 or 69, the walk is quite far, and for one, I genuinely recommend you to give yourself time, as it is a far walk, trust me. Upon arriving at the gate, I got my first glimpse of the aircraft that'll be flying me to Papua New Guinea, which today is a Boeing 767-300ER, registered as Papa 2, Papa X-Ray Victor. She flew in 1999 for the President of the United Arab Emirates until 2004, when she moved to Etihad Airways. She briefly made her way back to Amri Air before moving to Air New Guinea in 2010, making this aircraft 25 years old. Boarding commenced not long after I had arrived at the gate, which was on time at gate 84. Stepping down the jet bridge got me an even closer look at today's aircraft, which is configured in a 2-class cabin with 28 business class seats in a very strange 212 layout and 160 standard economy class seats in a more usual 232 layout. This morning I shall be seated in 4 Alpha. Legroom today was quite extensive, with the seat having a staggering 80 inches of pitch and 21 inches of width. In the center console is a tray table, which took me several attempts to get out, as it slides in a really bizarre way. When it's out, it's decently sized and very sturdy. In the seat pocket, you'll find a safety card and magazine, as well as an air sickness bag. On the left-hand side of the seat, you'll find the controls for the seat, which has a bunch of different settings. Above are individual reading lights only. Also, below the seat controls is the controls for the entertainment screen, which is comically small, but I quite like it. Awaiting at every seat is a soft pillow with a lovely cotton cover, which was quite nice. During boarding, all business class passengers were served a selection of welcome drinks, including orange juice, beer, and water. Also presented were cool, refreshing towels, which were individually wrapped in plastic. One thing I noticed whilst we were waiting to push is a privacy divider between the 2 business class seats. And finally, just prior to pushback, business class passengers were offered bottles of water, to which I held on to mine for the entire flight and stay in Papua New Guinea. Soon we commenced our pushback from gate 84, 1 minute behind schedule. taxied to runway 19 right via Charlie 10, Bravo, Yankee, Sierra, Sierra 1 and Tango 1. Now please enjoy this unedited takeoff. Once airborne, we flew west for a bit before spinning around to the north over the CBD and setting a northerly course for Papua New Guinea. Flight time this morning is 3 hours and 2 minutes, covering a distance of 1,337 miles or 2,151 kilometers, cruising at 34,000 and 36,000 feet. Immediately after departure in the distance was the Gold Coast, the second largest city in the state of Queensland, and when you think about it, it's actually not that far away. After takeoff, all business class passengers were handed individually wrapped noise-cancelling headphones, which weren't super noise-cancelling, but they worked well enough. On the back of every business class seat is a very responsive 9-inch touchscreen entertainment screen, featuring a wide variety of the latest TV shows, music, movies, games, and more. What I like about this entertainment screen is that there is a moving map feature, which unfortunately it's on a loop and it can't be changed, but it was really nice to have. Once reaching cruising altitude, we passed directly by Maroochydore and the Sunshine Coast Airport, no longer home to the now defunct and dead airline of Bonza. Not long after, we were handed Papua New Guinea's incoming passenger card, similar to Australia's. Just before lunch was served, we passed by the relatively large town of Maryborough near Hervey Bay, roughly 1/3 up the Queensland coastline. This was followed by an appetizer of white wine, which was a Chardonnay with soya crisps served in a ceramic dish. Soon enough, my entree was served, and today I was served smoked salmon on a plate of leaves and potato salad. This was paired with garlic bread, which wasn't my initial choice, but my flight attendant was very convincing and insistent that I tried it. For dessert, I was served a carrot cake with custard, which was absolutely phenomenal. The salmon was spectacular, not too salty, and practically melted in my mouth. As I was enjoying my entree, the views down below did not disappoint, as we were passing over the absolutely beautiful blue ocean and Great Barrier Reef. This was followed by seafood and noodles, which were prawns, whitefish, and scallops, served with a balsamic vinegar reduction and what I believe to be lo mein noodles. Lunch today, which doesn't really get any points in regards to presentation, was absolutely amazing. It tasted very flavorful and was just that perfect balance between savory and sweet. On board the aircraft are 7 bathrooms, 3 for business and 4 for economy. Inside is everything you'd typically expect, but in addition to a massive floor space, there was mahogany wood, which I was not expecting. Soon we commenced our descent into Port Moresby. As we fell back to earth, there wasn't much to be seen due to the cloud cover obstructing the water, but the moment we hit landfall, specifically Duke Island, is when the clouds let up and we were treated to breathtaking views of the new country down below. This entire landscape reminded me of 2 locations which I've previously visited, that being Bali and Cairns, which unsurprisingly aren't that far away. My personal recommendation when flying into Port Moresby is to sit on the left-hand side of the aircraft, as the views down below are absolutely amazing, seeing the water, the beach, the countryside, the rainforest, and the rural parts of Port Moresby, which can clearly be seen. There are also vintage aircraft which can be seen on the left-hand side during landing, which shall be seen in just a moment. Now please enjoy this unedited landing. After landing, we taxied back to the international terminal via Mike, Alpha and Delta to Gate 3. We pulled into the gate a surprising 16 minutes behind schedule. Just before stepping off the aircraft, I marveled at the unique Boeing 767 door, which opens inward and up, rather than out and to the right like most Boeing aircraft. Once I was let off the aircraft, my thoughts were to my next flight, which I had no clue what was ahead of me, and the absolute shit show that would ensue. Immediately, I was greeted with friendly and welcoming faces. Even the Border Force officers were smiling, which is rare. This flight was the first of 3 that I had that day, and was by far the longest sector. But because my next flight was domestic, I had to transfer over there at the domestic terminal. Due to my filming equipment, I was stopped at the customs area and my entire bag and phone was searched for any contraband or footage that I shouldn't have shot, but they found nothing bad, and so I was let into the country. So how would I rate my experience on board Air Niugini in business class? This was by far one of the best international business class flights I've ever had the privilege of experiencing, and I would highly recommend you to give it a go yourself. The service, food, seat, and even the vintage plane was one I am very unlikely to forget. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to check out the other videos I have on my YouTube channel. And now, I have a Discord server. Feel free to join, link at the top of the description. And don't forget to push that notification bell if you enjoy my content. And if you want to see more, I post my videos every Friday at 8 PM Sydney time. And I hope to see you again in the next one. See you later!